Hey everybody, Sean here, and I hope you're doing well. Yes, we have more nonsense from Kenneth Copeland today, so let's jump right in. And special thanks to David Rector for sharing this. This is Kenneth Copeland preaching his usual nonsense while in Nigeria. And this was October 31st, 2021. So if you do follow Kenneth, realize that he was a false teacher many years ago and continues to be one today.
Who was the biggest loser? Satan? No. God.
So he's referring to God as a loser, not in a slang sense of being a loser, but someone that loses something. In the past, he called God a failure.
Who's the biggest failure in the Bible? God is. What'd you say?
You know, everybody asks you, say, who's the biggest failure? They say, Judas. Somebody else will say, no, I believe it's Adam. Well, how about the devil? He's the most consistent failure.
Okay.
But he's not the biggest in terms of material failure and so forth. The biggest one in the whole Bible is God. Oh, what? Don't you turn that set off. You listen to it. I told you now, you sit still a minute. You know me well enough to know I wouldn't tell something I can't prove in the Bible. He lost his top-ranking, most anointed angel, the first man he ever created, first woman he ever created, the whole earth, and all the fullness therein, a third of the angels at least. That's a big loss, man. I mean, you figure all that, that's a lot of real estate, brother. Gone down the drain. Now, the reason you don't think of God as a failure is He never said He's a failure. And you're not a failure till you say you won.
So he's continuing today with the same blasphemy.
God lost his man. God lost the woman he created with his own hands. God had given Adam absolute authority over this planet, and his own created son committed high treason and bowed his knee to the devil, and the devil took over.
This is all such a bunch of garbage because it was no surprise to God what happened. He didn't lose anything. A Calvinist might say that God even ordained this. I would say he allowed this as part of his plans. But in no way was God in heaven thinking, doggone it, how did that happen? And Adam did not bow his knee to Satan. Let's read Genesis 3:6 and see what really happened. When the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate it. Doesn't sound like anyone was bowing their knee to the devil.
Adam had a leash on this earth, and as such, he was literally the God of this world.
And that's not true either. There is only one true God, and that is Yahweh. And the small g god of this world is Satan, and only for a time under God's allowance. But God is still sovereign and in control of everything. Adam was never literally the God of this world, but Kenny did a much more detailed explanation of this in the past.
God's reason for creating Adam was his desire to reproduce himself. I mean a reproduction of himself. And in the Garden of Eden, he did that. He was not a little like God. He was not almost like God. He was not subordinate to God even. And Adam is as much like God as you could get. Just the same as Jesus, when He came into the earth, He said, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. He wasn't a lot like God. He's God manifested in the flesh. And I want you to know something. Adam in the Garden of Eden was God manifested in the flesh.
This is all such blasphemy. And if you think Kenneth Copeland is a man of God, then I'm sorry, you're deceived. And if you follow people like Todd White that calls this man a spiritual father, then you're also deceived. But you don't have to be. You can look at all the videos out there that show from Scripture that people like Kenny are teaching lies. People like Todd White defend Copeland because he's given a lot of money to people like Reinhard Bonnke's ministry in the past. Now, this is just my theory, but it's called a tax write-off. So Kenneth donates $1 million to Todd White's ministry. Todd donates $1 million to Bill Johnson's ministry. Bill donates $1 million to Jesse Duplantis' ministry. Jesse donates $1 million to Heidi Baker, and so on until it comes around full circle with the last person donating back to Kenneth Copeland. They all get their tax write-off and end up getting their money back anyways. Once again, just a theory, but I think it's a definite possibility. But regardless, Kenneth Copeland is a false teacher and should be avoided like the plague. Anyhow, we'll leave it here for today, but please leave your thoughts and comments below, and until next time, take care and God bless.